So, Andrea, I know that you know this, but I'm sure that many of the people that are watching do not know this. That I've actually been a volunteer for an organization known as Dallas CASA, in which we're actually looking out and being an advocate for kids who are disadvantaged. Perhaps they've actually lost both of their parents and really fell into the legal system. And from that experience, Andrew, what I realized is really the importance of having some sort of guardianship in place in order to make sure that if the unforeseen were to happen, in the worst case scenario where myself or even both of us were to pass away, how important it would be for our wishes to be in line for our kids to be placed properly. And so with that being the case, we had the opportunity to speak with our estate attorney, once again, Mr. Brandon McGee of the McGee Law Firm, to discuss the importance of guardianship. So you're definitely going to want to stay locked into this video today. Hi, my name is Carson Graves, President and CEO of the Retirement Education Center.
And my name is Andrea, Director of Operations at the Retirement Education Center. And the reason we've created these educational videos is to help to make the difficult and confusing retirement process simple.
Absolutely, and we do this simply by incorporating a team of strategic partners ranging from certified financial analysts, certified financial planners, estate attorneys, insurance advisors, and other needed professionals to help us build a holistic and comprehensive retirement roadmap that's going to let our clients know when, where, and how they can reach their retirement goals. So I mentioned that we're going to be talking about the importance of guardianship today. So without further delay, let's go ahead and transition into my interview with Mr. Brandon McGee of the McGee Law Firm.
And so once again, I'm actually with Brandon McGee of the McGee Law Firm. Brandon has actually been giving us some insight into estate planning, which of course is much needed. As we mentioned before, with everything, of course, and Brandon mentioned this last time, everything that's now going on with the pandemic, a lot of people are trying to get their affairs in order to make sure things are going to be in place and it's going to be left to their beneficiaries properly. So Brandon, how are you doing, sir? Welcome back to give us some more education on estate planning. Tell us what you have for us today.
Yeah, Carson. So number one, thanks so much for having me on again. We always really enjoy doing these with you. And so today, really what I want to be is kind of an open book, and I want to answer any questions that you think your clientele, your listeners, your watchers, the things that you think that they would be interested in knowing more about. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Absolutely. Well, Brandon, here's the thing that I think is really important. I've been hearing in the news lately, sadly, a lot of, athletes, of course, have been, either passing away for one reason or another, so I watch a lot of sports. I'm always curious about what happens to their family when things like that happen. So I really want to talk about guardianship. I'm a young guy, I have kids, and if something were to happen to me and I don't have a proper guardianship in place for my kids. Tell me some of the things that could be a problem with that, and when is guardianship actually needed in that case?
Okay, so and you're talking specifically about for a child, is that right?
For a child, or any capacity that you think we should know about.
Okay, so number one, let's talk about kids. I would say the biggest demographic that should be doing estate planning that neglects it, is the demographic of you and I. It's the people who are in the middle of raising kids. It can be really difficult to get, number one, me and my wife, to get us in the same room at the same time during business hours, right? Because we both work, we're both attorneys. And so number one, that's really difficult, and that's difficult for a lot of families. Number two, we're spending so much money on our kids and all the stuff they do. Oftentimes people think I don't have time for that and I don't really want to pay for it. But you have to consider, when you're in our phase of life, kind of a worst case scenario. And what if, you and your wife go to have dinner for your anniversary or for Valentine's Day, and you're driving home, the kids are with the babysitter, and you're hit by a drunk driver and you're both gone in the blink of an eye, right? Kind of a worst case scenario. We want to have an estate plan left behind that, among other things, identifies you all's maybe first, second, and third choice for guardian. That way we don't have family members arguing over who's going to be the guardian. You see in the legal industry, grandparents having custody battles in the court system over a child whose parents are deceased. And so we want to lay out, the spouses need to figure out their first choice, their second choice, and I would say even a third potential choice of guardian, so that whenever, and understand too, that does not give that person, let's say the grandparents, that does not give the grandparents legal rights over the child just because you left behind a choice of guardian. What it does, though, it gives the grandparents the ability to go through the court system to seek custody, legal custody of the child through the court system, which will give them all the rights of a parent without having to have interference in a contest from another family member or another person. Okay, it tells the judge, hey, look, this is who they chose. This is who the parents wanted. They didn't want Joe Blow over here. They wanted me. So number one, you want to have a first and second, and maybe even a third choice of guardian identified on a legal document. Okay, so that it makes it easier for that person to have custody of the grandkid. Number two, in my opinion, you want to have money left back in a trust. It's important to have a trust so that the trustee can give the guardian a certain amount of money per year to raise the kids. Okay, whatever you think is a good idea. It's hard to quantify how much that is. We don't think about it. How much money do I spend on my kids? It's a lot, but I don't really know. I just know it's a lot. But otherwise, if you don't do that, all the money is going to be under the domain of that guardian. All of your assets, your life insurance and everything that you and your wife left behind. And you're just hoping that person is going to be a good custodian of it. You're hoping they're not going to squander it. You're hoping they're not going to spend it on themselves. You're hoping they're not going to put it in a terrible investment, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good idea to have the guardian identified, to have the trust in place where the trustee gives that person a certain amount of money per year. And then that guardian knows, I've got, $30,000 a year. I got a budget. I got to figure out, the best way to handle this $30,000 a year. Third thing that's real critical is if you don't have a trust and you pass away before your kids are adults, when they turn 18, guess what happens? Whatever's left over, let's say the guardian or the trustee, or in this case, the guardian did do a good job and they managed the money well. Your kid turns 18, he or she gets their inheritance at 18. Now, I don't know about you, Carson, but if I had inherited, some six-figure sum of money, maybe seven-figure sum of money when I was 18 years old, it all would have been gone within 2 years, right? It would not have gone well. Yeah. So a trust can also allow us to say to the trustee, look, pay for this kid's college education, pay for them to go to university, but don't just give them all the money. And then when they're of a certain age where we hope they can be reasonably mature, maybe 27, 29, I don't know, it's different, but then they can have the remainder. So that's how the best way to set up when you have minor children, to hope that, of course, we hope that nothing's going to happen to us. We're all going to live a nice long life. But if it doesn't, that way from the grave, so to speak, we maintain control through that trust, and hopefully things will go well, and we won't have money squandered by people.
Let me ask you this, Brandon. How many people, I know you work with a lot of folks in setting up their estates. How many people do you encounter that actually take that very seriously as far as setting up guardianship for their kids? How often do you see that, or do people try to put that on the back burner? Like I see in my practice, with the same thing with life insurance. People should definitely have it. Most people think that, when the time of trouble, they certainly wish they had. But tell me, in your opinion, how do people approach that guardianship situation?
What I found is this: for the vast majority of the people that actually make their way into my office, that again are in the child rearing phase of life, most of them take it very serious. Mm-hmm. But most people that are in our phase of life, child rearing, don't make it into my office. The vast majority. Most of my clients tend to be empty nesters.
Yeah.
The kids are out of the house. Maybe we finished paying for college, or they're on the 529 and college is getting paid for. And so now we've got kind of some time and some money to sit down and do estate planning. Most of my clients are in that boat. So the ones that make their way here are very serious about it, but it's a small percentage. It's like I said, it's hard to get the crowd from our phase of life, the mom and dads who have the kids at home. It's hard to get them in to do estate planning. So I would say the vast majority of parents here in DFW have zero plan in place in case they pass. And if they do have some sort of a plan, it's not much, right? Maybe they have a last will and testament, which means that the guardian's going to have domain over all the money. And then when the kids turn 18, they get whatever is left. And again, that's ripe for a fiasco.
You know, a lot of times, Brandon, with my own personal YouTube videos, I like to give some of the pros and cons of different types of things that clients can do, no matter what it may be, because there's usually some sort of downside. Is there any downside to a guardianship being in place? Or is this thing could it be, this is just what people should do, and there's really no negative to it when you have some sort of guardianship in place? Would there be some sort of infighting or jealousy or envy from parents, grandparents, however it will be? Do you see some sort of, any sort of negativity around guardianship?
Well, no. I mean, because number one, if parents pass away, obviously the issue is going to have to be dealt with, right? Yeah. There's no way around it. And what we found actually in the legal field, is the people who don't leave explicit instructions behind, that's what causes the family bloodbath. Okay. If somebody's a little bit miffed because, the other grandparents got put ahead of them, well, so be it, but that's not going to be near as nasty as spending $20,000 on a custody attorney and brutalizing each other in court, right? So I don't see any downside to it. And I just want to be real, and I see a lot of upside, but I want to be real clear about two things. Number one, you don't have to disclose your estate plan to another family member if you think it's going to make them upset. So they don't have to know while you're alive, right? It can be private. They can find out after you die. Number two, we're not setting up, you can't set up a guardianship for your kid before you pass away. What you're setting up is a declaration of who you would want to be the guardian. So there's a big difference. It's not that you can't just say, well, I'm going to go set up this guardianship for my kid and it's there. You're just simply declaring who you think would be the best person to do it. So they have an easy time going through the court system, and things just kind of get rubber stamped in the court system rather than having to fight off other family members in a custody battle.
Okay, this is one last question I have about this here before I let you go, Brandon.
Sure.
Can parents set up a guardianship for themselves? Like, who do I want to be in the care of when it comes to your kids?
So yeah, absolutely. What we say is, what we do is this: at our firm, we have a power of attorney package.
Okay.
And we have 5 documents that are technically powers of attorney that, if they are kept up to date, redone about every 5 to 6 years, there should not have to be a guardianship period of an adult. So if, my mom becomes mentally incapacitated, I should be able to not have to hire an attorney, not have to go to court, not spend a dime. Just get her powers of attorney, make her medical decisions, go to her bank, make her financial decisions, right? So number one, powers of attorney are the way around guardianship of an adult.
Got it.
We also have a document we include in our package called Declaration of Guardian for the adult, right? And that's where the person's saying, if I have to have a legal guardian, this is my first choice, my second choice, and maybe my third choice. So yes, we want for adults, and let's, to be blunt, the chances are higher that a senior, much higher, that a senior is going to need a guardian than a child, right? So the vast majority of guardianships that we see after, in our estate planning field are for a senior, a mentally incapacitated senior. And for that, we first hope there's a good set of fairly recent powers of attorney in place where we don't even have to deal with guardianship. If not, we have the declaration of guardian, so that family member can go through the court system, again, with the path of least resistance. The court can just kind of rubber stamp things and say, okay, Joe Blow, they picked you as the guardian, you're now the guardian.
So we do have a link to Brandon's website in our description below. So if you guys want to go there to get in touch with Mr. Brandon McGee to talk to him about anything regarding your estate, please do so. So just click on the link provided in our description below to speak with Brandon.
Yeah, thanks so much, Carson. And just so you guys know, we offer a complimentary consultation for the first consultation for up to an hour to any family or individual. So you guys who are watching this and you're a Texas resident, we really want to encourage you to take advantage of that. If you're not a Texas resident, you would need to seek out advice from an estate planning attorney in your state. Okay.
Great. Thanks for letting us know, Brandon. All right. We will definitely be in touch with you again, Brandon, and we'll look forward to it. So guys, stay tuned to this channel. We're going to have Brandon on more often so we can get more education about estate planning. Thank you, Brandon, again.
Thank you so much, Carson. Really enjoyed it.
All right.
So I really hope that everyone watching today got a lot out of the interview with Mr. Brandon McGee in understanding the importance of having guardianship in place in case the unforeseen were to happen. Please remember that all of these videos are created for educational purposes only, and that you should always seek out your own financial advisor, tax advisor, and or attorney regarding your own personal situation. And if you are actually looking for a fiduciary advisor to assist you with these complicated financial matters, please click on the link provided in the description below and learn how to become one of our high value clients. For more information about this particular topic or any of the subject matters that we've discussed in our prior videos, please do not hesitate to reach out to our office or leave any questions or comments in the section below.
To learn more about our services and how we can help you to increase your chances of not outliving your retirement income, make sure to click on the link in the description below and sign up for our free Maximizing Your Retirement Income Masterclass. After this video, please check out our other videos that we've created that will give you tips on how to maximize your retirement. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you have questions,
we have answers.